Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop up. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Hey, how we doing?
Good evening. I'm good. 10 of the week. I'm better. I've been drinking alcohol again.
Well, we're doing that yesterday, if I recall. But
Well,
hey,
yeah, I know, but I was on the gin and tonics after work. So when I have my gin and tonic, my after work gin and tonics on a Friday, the dividing line between work time and me time and work and weekend.
yeah, no, that's cool. So, good evening to the chat room, Beats and Tapes, Brett Mate, Julie C, Jedi, Ray, blah, blah. Welcome to our latest and newest cadet. Did you do? Welcome. Did you do? Yeah, probably did you do. And Matthew Blackman, I think, is our other cadet. So, yes, 2 cadets will get you shaped up and promoted, hopefully.
Look, no hazing. You tried that with the last ones and they ended up leaving. So none of your fucking weird Scottish rituals, please.
I don't do rituals. You're confusing me with Freemasonry. I don't do that. Mm-hmm. Right. They were lovely. I ate them all. Brett, mate. Yeah, and I shouldn't have because I am too big. But
What's because you're married to a woman that bakes delicious treats and cakes, and I don't know honestly under those circumstances know how a sensible person like you would even put themselves under the expectation that you lose any bloody weight with your wife coming home from work with delicious looking chocolate and cream things that you really can't. I mean, no self-respecting man could turn his nose up at that. I mean,
I know. I mean, what can you say? I had 3 of them. 3. Because she brought 6 home. Daughter had 2. Sean had 1 because he's not a great fanner. cream-based products, and I had two. No, two. I had two. I had two and a profiterole. No, I had three.
Oh, profiteroles are just a thing
And a
of beauty.
profiterole. Yeah, I did.
I bet your worst profiteroles are rather nice.
Just you. Take it easy now, Ed.
I was talking about the fucking profiterole.
I don't know if we can be discussing profiteroles in an open channel like this, you know? Just you behave.
We do understand what a profiterole is, don't we?
Yeah, I know.
Oh dear. Right, let's moving swiftly on. Let's get
moving
started.
Swiftly.
As usual, we've had another look. We've done 3 shows in 2025 so far.
Yeah.
And every single week seems to have gotten substantially more batshit crazy than the last one.
This week is, I mean, they've gone completely nuts. So if you don't follow the UFO thing, you won't have realised what UFO Twitter or UFO X or whatever they want to call it now is like. They have gone off their little heads because the guy on the right, Dr. Stephen Greer, the guy outlined in green, who to me is an embodiment of a living actual reptilian. But anyway, he promised disclosure early January and pushed it back towards the end. And then these two clowns on the other side, Corbell in red and Coulthart and outlined in black, which should have been red as well. But anyway, Coulthart says he's going to produce a video tomorrow of an actual UFO crash retrieval. So,
and if you believe that, then I've got a freaking partially used pier that I'm also trying to sell to Wes Streeting. Fucking hell! Honestly, are you genuinely expecting them? Are we being sarcastic now, or are you genuinely expecting these people?
No, I'm telling you what they're telling.
Disclose anything apart from the fact that they're grifting.
Oh, right. All I'm doing, mate, is being a reporter and telling you what they're telling the world, right? My personal opinion hasn't come out yet, right? I'm yet to reveal that. But yeah, I think when you said these grifting, was it arseholes? But anyway, when you said...
I didn't use that word. I said I said so-and-so's or something
along
those lines.
So anyway,
I didn't use an expletive.
But you did say grifters, and I think... Yeah, you've got to be. They've got to be. This is, I mean, Greer's been doing this for over...
to disclose something, they would have done it already.
Greer has been doing this for over 40 years.
He's not disclosed anything.
And nothing's come out. You know, Congress are holding UAP hearings where people go on and try and sell their book. I mean...
I agree with Brit, mate. He's a reptilian.
Oh, yeah. I've always said that. Greer is the living embodiment of what a reptilian would look like if it was wearing a skin suit.
But I don't know what to say. I mean, you and I both in agreement. It's just the whole thing is just turning into a ridiculous grift. I mean, and it's almost like the Pentagon are part of the whole grift as well, because they'll release little bits of gun camera footage or little snippets of video here and there.
Yeah. And
it's just, it all seems so contrived. And it's like these guys, Lou Elizondo and all these other people, it's just so...
I mean, Elizondo is just a proven liar.
I mean, it gives the whole thing a bad name. It really does.
Of course it does. I mean, if you want to look into something with I mean, it's like all these paranormal shows that burst into being around ghost hunting, you know?
Those ghosts, one of my exes was absolutely addicted to those, just nonsense.
But people have been looking into ghosts for years and years, and then these shows appeared with REM pods and EMF meters and, you know, thermal and they still get absolutely nothing. They get nothing though. There's nothing ever comes up. It's a joke, and it's just entertainment, you know.
But they'll always come up with ways to, they'll make shit up as they go along. It's like, I heard something, and then they all get all actory and kind of, it's just. I mean,
look at Greer. Greer was he was an emergency room doctor, an ER doctor, And he was that for, I mean, he's retired now, but he was that for many, many years. So why were people coming to him? And why is he going and briefing incoming presidents on the UFO problem? He's not getting any clearance. He doesn't work for the military. He's a civilian. I mean, the guy knows nothing. So why would anyone go to him other than the fact that he's made a good grift out of being the UFO guy? I mean, that's really it. And then these other two, like Corbell and Coulthart, that they're just trying to take over from him. That's what they're trying to do.
I mean, I have so little time for any of them. I find the whole UFO, UAP phenomena fascinating, as you know, and I'm more than willing to believe that there are something that we can't explain, that we don't know where it comes from, floating around out there, because there's plenty of video that would suggest that that's the case, and video that's not debunkable. I'm not talking about all of the easily debunkable shit. I'm talking about the videos that are actually genuinely what the fuck. But at the same time, these clowns, I just have no time for them at all. Honestly, I mean, let them sell their books and make their videos, and just don't darken my existence with any of it.
So apparently tomorrow there's going to be this video released, and I'll look at it.
Yeah, and tomorrow I'm going to go to the loo and have a massive shit.
Oh, thanks, Ed. I'm not going to go and have a look at that, but we'll see what comes of it. But
yeah, but nothing's going to come of it. You literally, I mean, it's honestly, and I realize that you enjoy wasting your time and getting all aggravated about these guys. Maybe it's a bit of a catharsis or something, but seriously.
No doubt next week we will be discussing this in the similar derisory terms that we're doing right now. But anyway, let's move on.
Can we have a hallelujah sound effect that I can access? Like your that's true one. True. Yeah, we need a hallelujah one.
Yeah, okay.
God's sake, can we move on? And talk about something other than charlatan idiots.
Right. So we're going to talk about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. First of all, they seem to be having some kind of love-in, right? Because they're now giving each other, best of luck with your launch tomorrow, Jeff. And this was Thursday, I think. Blue Origin sent their spaceship.
I didn't see any replies from Bezos though.
No, I don't think Bezos uses social media, and if he does, he certainly wouldn't use Twitter. But anyway, so Blue Origin launches its rocket and it works. Okay, that's fine. He launches a rocket, it works, it does its job, and So what's his name? Musk launched Starship 7 today, and it didn't go well.
Explosion.
It didn't go great, did it? Because this is see this.
I've seen.
Oh, hold on. See this thing
seen
here.
Space shuttles blow up.
Yeah, two.
And I have to say, as far as launch vehicle explosions go, it was fucking impressive.
Well, this is much bigger than a space shuttle, remember. But anyway, see this here. This flap of material sticking out. That's not meant to be sticking out. So there's a video of this, and it's flapping about in the breeze. I think it's a heat shield tile or something, or some kind of coating, which doesn't bode well when you're coming back down, because this is sitting on the launch pad. So when this took off, this thing was flapping about.
Well, I saw a video from not a video, but a tweet, I think, from El Musco about it. Hang on a minute, let me see if I can find it, because
he did say there was
that long ago.
He did say there was a leak in the forward compartment, an oxygen leak or something, and that.
Yeah,
that's probably the cause of what went wrong, and they're going to look at it and put an extra. And it's like, I got a whole thing here. There's two approaches to this. You can fail rapidly and keep failing until you get it right, which is what Musk and SpaceX seem to be doing. Or you can maybe just engineer the thing and keep running simulations and engineering it until it actually works. and then try launching
but
it,
there's
which is
nothing-
kind of what
well-
Jeff Bezos has done. So he's sent a rocket up, brought it back down, and the thing's still in one piece. You know?
Yeah, but the thing is that I think SpaceX have already done an awful lot of that. And they've actually got it to a point where they need to get information that they probably can only get from actually doing it, because it doesn't matter how many times you simulate it or run it in inexpensive computers or whatever.
I hear what you're saying, Ed, and I have to take exception to that, right? I have to, because if you remember, if you go back to their first launch of Starship, right, they tore a massive hole in the launch pad. They didn't even do their due diligence about the amount of thrust that the thing was going to.
Yeah, but they're now at a stage where they can effectively catch a freaking skyscraper.
Yeah.
Using another skyscraper. So does it matter how they got to where they got to?
Well, only if you happen to be an investor in SpaceX and you're watching them piss your money up into little tiny pieces, because they're still doing that, you know? These rapid, unscheduled disassemblies.
Yeah, but I love that. I mean, it's such a it's a wonderful way to describe failure, because you make failure sound like it's not a failure.
It's a failure.
But at the same time, that's how you learn. I mean, yeah, you can.
Well, yes and no.
But it's also about doing it quickly. And
yes and no.
It's faster to actually do it and make the mistakes and iterate quickly on your engines and your everything else that's required.
Yes and no. I mean, I agree with you. This is why I put forward what's the best approach, you know, because Musk has gone for the fail fast and try again, fail fast and try again, and that is one approach.
I think to be honest, personally, I think it's actually a matter of personality types, because I think both ways of doing it will actually, if you're determined enough and you've got enough money and you can keep it going long enough and you've actually got realistic goals, then either approach will basically get you to where you want to be. In my case, I can actually relate personally more towards the way Musk is doing it, because I'm very much like that myself. It's like when I'm building, because I'm a web developer, so I have a code window open in one screen and a web browser open in another screen, and I'm making incremental changes, and I'm doing that on a live website. And okay, I'm not blowing up any rockets. It's not it's not a direct comparison.
No, I know.
The point that I'm trying to make is that, to me, I'm a doer. I'm not. If you sit me in a classroom and try and get me to learn something before I actually do it, I don't know. Maybe I've got a little bit of ADHD or something. I don't, but I just get bored to fuck. Whereas if you actually put me where I'm doing something, then I can kind of engage with it.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So, if you had the opportunity to ride a rocket into space at this moment in time, would you go on Blue Origin or would you go on SpaceX?
Which one's had most successful dockings with the International Space Station?
SpaceX is running up and down to the ISS just now.
I would go with the one that's actually got the experience of doing
Captain Kirk went to space in the dick-shaped rocket.
It wasn't Captain Kirk.
Yeah, Captain Kirk did. He went to space in the dick-shaped rocket run by Jeff Bezos. Bill Shatner went up in the Blue Origin rocket.
Star Trek. Yes, no, he had his ashes scattered in space.
No, he's still alive. He went up to space
in
the rocket.
I'm confusing him with someone else.
I hope so. Bill, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but reports of your death have been greatly exaggerated. Again.
Just don't sue me, please.
Don't worry about it. Oh, dear. People, you don't need to call out adverts, because you may get an advert, but not everybody gets an advert at the same time, right? So one gets an advert, another one might not. apparently it's the way things happen in this fancy new world.
If you're worried about them on this particular channel, use the Brave web browser, either on your computer or on your phone.
Don't stop. You can't tell people on YouTube right now. Voice freaking, oh my God. Right, anyway, don't just disregard what Ed said there. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. Anyway, look at the pretty pictures. Look at the pretty pictures, Ed, that you were talking about. And that's the breakup of Starship 7 over the Turks and Caicos.
It was a good explosion.
Oh, it was incredible.
I mean, if you're going to blow up a rocket going into orbit, that's the way to do it. I mean, it would be interesting to know how much each one of those individual shiny little pieces cost. But
a considerable amount of money. That's what you said.
I can imagine.
And of course, Musk being Musk is going, we managed to catch a 33-story rocket, on its landing. And I'm like, you're going to need a net to catch Starship.
Well, can you imagine being on the beach in the Turks and Caicos Islands on your dream holiday, watching the sun go down, and suddenly that shit appears in the sky?
These are videos.
Honestly, I mean, in the days before mobile phones, people would have literally shit themselves.
Oh, people were shitting themselves. They're going, look up. What's that? What is happening? They didn't have a clue. It's aliens were being invaded. I mean, really? Dear. Oh my God, it was incredible. Oh.
So, what's next?
Right, okay, let's move on. Moving on. Where's the mouse gone? Where's my mouse? Right there. Right. So this is Governor Kathy Hochul's State of the State address. And they're on stage having a song and dance routine, right? They freaking brought the state of the state to the audience through the interpretation of dance. This woman's a nutter. This is real.
This explains. Well, have you seen the state of New York recently? I mean, the state of America, nonsense like this it's the reason. And I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't give it long before we have some Labour councillors doing it, or they're going to all start singing Kumbaya in freaking Westminster or something. I don't know. But it's a perfect example of why America is in the state that it's in, because you have the people who are actually supposed to be running the place haven't got a clue. They don't. I mean, do American politicians actually spend any time actually doing their jobs?
Well, let's think about that. And this is actually quite an interesting point, because, and we can have a little bit of a discussion here, because my point is politicians don't know anything, you know? I mean, like, let's...
I don't think that's exclusively true, but it seems to be the majority. Let's be fair to the few of them that actually do have a clue.
Well, let me put forward my viewpoint here, right? So you have someone like Angela Rayner, right, who's in charge of housing or something like that. Okay, what does she know about housing other than the fact that she lives in one, right? And then you've got Kathy from complaints. Rachel from complaints or accounts, if you want to call it that, but she was never in accounts. She was actually in the complaints department. But so you've got Rachel from complaints, who knows nothing of the ways of economics, you know, and she's supposed to be the chancellor. She's not really. The civil servants that work underneath her are the ones that are doing all the work, and they're advising her. And she goes, well, that sounds quite good. We'll try that, right? Because that's the way that the policy goes. So they really don't know that much. And, you know, Rachel Reeves has no right to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer if you expect her to know how economics work. I mean, I probably know more about it than she does. You probably know more about it than she does. As a theatre, Janet, you're right.
My two seagulls probably know more than she does. I mean, I agree with you. It's a fundamental problem that we have with government that I don't know. I mean, in theory, it's the civil service that's supposed to stop this kind of nonsense. But obviously, these politicians get in there, and they have a certain amount of power to boss the civil service around, or the whole thing is just, as some people, it's like how much of the agenda is actually coming from
people need to go back.
People like Rachel from complaints. I mean, the policy is all being created by these think tanks and these Tony Blair Institute and all of these other dickheads.
So people need to go, and the WEF and people like that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the UN. I mean, there's a whole bunch of Agenda 2030 shit going on too.
So people need to go back and watch things like Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister and the.
This is why that's not. I mean,
that's why you don't see
get
these
away with making that.
anymore.
Yeah. It's like spitting image. Absolutely. The UK used to have a vibrant kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, but there was an opposition, not just in Parliament, but an actual media opposition and we had some freedom of speech where programs like Spitting Image or Faulty Towers or Yes Minister, all of those things, none of that stuff would get made now.
Yeah.
Or they'd try and make it and it would be so diabolically awful and woke and just completely not representative of what the country is.
So moving on. I thought this was quite interesting, right? 97% of human accomplishments since the 14th century have occurred because of men born in this region, and it's not far off. To be fair, it's not far off.
I feel
Spain's been hard done to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Spanish and the French have kind of missed out a bit, but also the Greeks. But then that was a bit further back than the 14th century.
It does say from the 14th century. So I think it's pretty well. The Scots is in there because see that bit of Scotland that's not in that region. Nobody lives there. That's empty. No, and you think I'm joking? I'm not joking. It's literally freaking empty. Once you get above Glasgow and Stirling, right? Other than Aberdeen and Inverness, there's nothing else there, right? There are less than 8 people per square mile in Scotland.
Sounds like you guys have got room for some asylum seekers.
Yeah, but what would they do? There's nothing. When I say
tents and shit,
but there's nothing there.
Yeah, but it'd be a really good way to get them on a fucking dinghy back to France.
Yeah. I mean, you want to ship them. You want to ship them up to Glencoe and say, "On you go, mate. You know, just knock yourself out," because the only thing up there are sheep. That's it. Oh, they'd probably kill all the sheep, wouldn't they? But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, but they're hardy Scottish mountain sheep, so I suspect the sheep would probably do some damage as well.
Queen Victoria didn't do anything to Scotland. Nobody lived there ever. There was the odd clan here and there, but tiny amounts. Scotland's always been empty up there. It's inhospitable. It's horrible. It rains. If it's either raining or it's about to rain, right? Or in the winter, it's snowing or it's about to snow. It's just not it's not a nice place. You get about 2 weeks of summer and that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I pretty much go with that map. And it cuts out all the...
Yeah, but you have to... I mean, okay, I feel a bit bad for the Irish on the map because you can't deny that Irish whiskey is an accomplishment. I mean, the Irish must have accomplished something.
Oh, okay. Okay, they made whiskey and Guinness. We'll give them that.
Well, Guinness is an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's fine. That's cool. So have you seen there was a BBC article about UFO-shaped clouds. Have you ever seen a lenticular cloud? They're pretty cool.
Yeah, lenticular clouds are awesome.
Yeah, so apparently there's a good chance.
there is actually... It's nice to see something in the sky that's not...
There's a good chance of seeing them for the next couple of days, apparently, especially in North Wales or Cumbria.
Okay. Interesting.
So keep your eyes peeled, people. Look to the skies. Let us know if you see a lenticular cloud. Do not
and
phone
cue the
UFO
absolute
headline.
mountain of pictures of people claiming that it's HARP or
UFO. I've had an experience.
you know it's going to happen.
I've had an
I
experience.
mean, lenticular clouds are a completely natural thing. There's no.
Yeah, I've seen a UFO.
Yeah, you can tell because Mother Nature doesn't do straight lines, really.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. Oh, this one, yes. The multitude of videos of people starting fires in places they shouldn't be starting fires.
Climate change, mate. Climate change. Don't just move on. Let's move on. But
Well,
yeah,
they're just a more extreme version of Just Stop Oil. Let's go from stopping ambulances to burning down hospitals.
Yeah. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, it's coming.
Don't get me started because I hate those eco loons. Because I mean, if you really want to help the environment, go and clean some rivers or pick up rubbish or something that's actually usul.
Sorry,
oh, this is funny. I saw this one earlier. It's brilliant.
The 600 series had the 600 series had rubber skin. We spotted them easy, but these are new. They look human. They sweat, bad breath, everything. Very hard to spot.
Superb.
That's quite good.
Oh, there was some genius memers out there.
This annoys me. This annoys me quite a lot.
What's that?
So
that looks like Central Park.
No, it's not Central Park. It's San Francisco, right?
Oh, what?
That's San Francisco. You can see that. No, there's no fire. There's no fire there. If you actually zoom in, the houses are still standing. Everything looks fine.
Oh, right.
But this annoys me because the caption on it was, "Isn't it funny how this survived?" Implying that this was LA. And it's not. It's San Francisco.
Nonsense.
It's clickbait nonsense. Exactly. People should get banned for putting stuff like that up. They really should.
Well, they won't because it's bums on seats for Twitter, and Twitter likes that kind of thing.
Gunky says, breaking, the Fed has ditched the Global Climate Coalition. Already? Before dawn's in? And I don't think, did you see that message I sent you on the other chat, on the other channel there, Julie? Did you want me to phone Donald and see if he can push back the inauguration by a couple of hours so Dreadeye can watch it? But anyway, so Gunky's saying, 2 hours ago. Cool. That's good. That's that. That's good. So Gunky says, I hope that it's true that, or no, Janet says it's true that his inauguration, of course he'd be inaugurated. It's, the whole thing.
It would be very difficult for them to do something to stop him being inaugurated, but that doesn't prevent them doing something that is going to make his life really difficult on day one.
It's fine. Everyone will go fine. Biden's done his goodbye speech. And it's going to be, he's warning us about the oligarchs, wasn't he? And it's going to be like, it's like, do you remember, who was it? Eisenhower warned us about the rise of the military-industrial complex.
It's hardly a valid comparison.
No, but hold on a minute. Eisenhower warned us about the rise of the military-industrial complex, and we did nothing about it. And it happened. Because it's here. It's here right now. What runs America? The military-industrial complex.
But what Biden's saying has already happened as well.
Exactly. So my point is that it will have as much effect as Eisenhower's speech, who was actually trying to help us. And Biden really just he's trying to leave a legacy when really he did nothing.
His legacy is death. Simple. Biden's legacy is death. If history remembers him for anything,
you're the right grumpy one this week.
No, I'm not being accurate. I mean, if you look at the number of people that have died
Oh yeah, I know.
under
Yeah,
his presidency as a result of decisions that he's made
yeah.
and things that he could have done to stop it. History is not going to be kind to him. And it doesn't have any right to be.
It shouldn't be, mate. It shouldn't be. Right. Let's go back to the slides. So this is Kiev in Ukraine. Kiev. And these people, what the freaking hell is going on here? This guy has been crispy fried, right? No doubt in some horrendous war accident, stroke bombing, stroke tank burning or whatever. So he's been crispy fried. He's sitting there half naked and everybody's laughing because somebody's cracked a joke. Or no doubt. And what's Keir doing? Oh, my father was a tool maker. He could fix that skin of yours. I mean, really, what the hell are these people thinking when they do these staged photographs? Why do you think that's a good look?
They believe their own propaganda nonsense, and they think everybody that sees the picture is going to believe their own propaganda nonsense as well. Mm-hmm. And I personally makes my skin crawl. I find the whole thing absolutely abhorrent because he is so fake. And the level of care that he's showing for British people. I mean, when was the last time that he was in a hospital in the UK with a burns victim or a little old lady or whatever?
I've never seen him in a hospital in the UK.
Exactly. And suddenly literally this asshole cares more about everyone else. I mean, if you look at the amount of money his government is sending abroad, meanwhile, screw everyone at home. Screw the country, screw the people, screw the pensioners, screw the farmers.
Yeah. So Big Vlad decided to do a drone attack while he was there visiting Little Vlad. So he was on Kiev, and Big Vlad dropped some drones onto Kiev.
But I'm not allowed to say what I really think about this.
No, we can't really. But I bet he shot his
pants. I think everybody knows what I'm thinking. I'm just not going to say it.
Right, let's move on before we get into trouble.
I just hope, I think it was you. Was it you that said on Twitter? Nobody was hurt, but they had to send out for some fresh changes of underwear.
Yeah. An aid was sent for fresh pants, I believe were the words. So this is apparently what's going on at the Treasury. UK growth is up because it's gone up this month, apparently, by something like 0.01%. Like Facebook and X, we've decided to get rid of fact checkers. I think that's pretty accurate of what's going on at the Treasury, because Rachel from Complaints doesn't have a clue what's going on at the Treasury. She doesn't. Well, no,
UK borrowing costs is soaring. The pound is dropping against the dollar. Mm-hmm. The economy is virtually in the toilet. Well, it's already been in the toilet, but it's getting to a point where they can't deny it. And the only thing the government can do is just spout word salad, meaningless nonsense.
So what?
And it's a joke.
What's bringing the economy to its knees is the Bank of England, right? And this all goes back to the Banking Act of 1998, I think, with Gordon Brown.
Well, not even that. It goes further back to how currency is created.
No. This goes back to direct action by the Bank of England as a result of the Banking Act of 1998, when Gordon Brown took all the controls off them, right, and made them responsible. Yeah. For
which is the same in the US.
The
repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act that they brought in after the Wall Street crash.
So what Gordon Brown effectively did was take away the responsibility from politicians and put it on the Bank of England, right? So if the economy went the wrong way, they could blame the Bank of England. But what it's actually done is it's made the Bank of England, instead of just lending money to the government, they issue bonds, the government buys the bonds get bought back. So it's just there's no need to do it. There's no need to do this. Legally, the government can just straightforward go and borrow from the Bank of England. But they don't. They do this bond thing. And what the Bank of England does is it wants to see a positive return on investment. So it keeps the interest rate artificially high. And an artificially high interest rate cripples investment and cripples economic growth. And that's what they're doing. So if we've got an inflation rate of 2.5%, the Bank of England's going to put the interest rate at least double that. So as they're making real money on, the interest that these bonds are accruing. It's a fucking
The whole
it's riddled with fault on the behalf of the Bank of England and the politicians. And Rachel's got the power. Well, yeah, Rachel has the actual power to turn around to the Bank of England and say no. Because if it's in the national interest to not put up the interest rate, she can turn around to the Bank of England and go, no, you can't do it. But she hasn't got the balls.
No.
That is a Ponzi scheme, Brit, mate. You're right. The whole thing's, it's a house of cards. It's all built on a fabrication. And, and it's
on the verge of coming crashing down.
Oh, yeah. Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, which
is why I think...
Look at the national debt.
If Ukraine goes down, this is why Starmer is so heavily into the whole Ukraine thing, because I suspect that our ruling class, the government, has essentially bet the whole country on the Ukraine thing. And if that goes belly up, then the financial ramifications for the UK in terms of debts that we've guaranteed that we're now responsible for because Ukraine can't pay them, or bonds that they've bought, because a lot of UK financial institutions have bought heavily into Ukrainian bonds, which are all going to go tits up if Ukraine loses. And the Russians have already got I think there's one more area. If they get the place with the nuclear reactor that they're constantly trying to attack, what's it called? I can't remember the name. Zaporozhye. Yeah, if they get Zaporozhye and there's another oblast in Ukraine, if they get those two, then what's left isn't a viable country, because the Russians will have all of the economically viable, the economically valuable stuff.
Yep.
And essentially what the western part of Ukraine will be left with is farmland.
Yeah.
And the Russians have almost got it all already. And there's nothing that will stop them taking the rest of it.
Yeah, if the Russians got the
frankly,
lithium.
they don't want the rest of Ukraine, because the people in the west of Ukraine absolutely despise the Russians.
Oh, they're arseholes. The people in the west of Ukraine they're the ones
joined with the nasty Germans in the 1930s.
And they're the ones that do the child trafficking and made Ukraine number 3 in the world for child prawn and whatever, And
also the massive corruption. And also the really nasty stuff like destroying war memorials and really being really disrespectful to things that are important and things that matter to people. But then what happens with this little rump state full of NAZIs that then wants to join the EU? Great. Yeah, let's graft a little corrupt, cancerous growth onto the body politic.
It just becomes an airstrip for America. That's all it does. It just becomes
briefly
a land
until they start another war and the whole place just vanishes.
They're starting that already, because look what they're doing with Romania. They're doing exactly what they did with Ukraine with Romania right now.
Well, they're trying to do it everywhere. They're trying to do it with Moldova. They're trying to do it in Romania. They're trying to do it in Georgia.
I love it. Fourthly Columbus has said in the chat about the Western Ukrainians, they're Poles. That's why.
Well, this is the thing, is that that's actually correct, because
I know it is
territorially
correct.
Speaking, what's left of Ukraine, apart from the bit that the Russians want, Hungary, Romania, and Poland all have claims on that territory. So the Russians, Medvedev said it himself. It's like, we'll take what we want, and then you guys can fight over the rest of it.
Yeah. It's like someone asked me on Twitter if I had anything against Poles, because I had said because there was somebody was singing the praises of Poland and how well it's doing, and I go, well, look, Poland's so bloody good. Why are there so many Poles over here? And they're like, have you got anything against Poles? And I said, well, to be honest, I find them quite insular, right? And a bit grumpy. And they keep themselves to themselves, so they don't interact with the normal population. And they're like, oh. Well, you asked.
Yeah, but some of the best tradesmen that I've encountered over the last few years have actually been Polish.
Oh yeah, no, but you're just too nice. You're a nice guy. You see the good in everybody, and
That's
it's
'cause
very laudable.
I've lived in
It's very
5 different
laudable.
countries on 2 continents.
It's very laudable. Very laudable.
Well, there's
I'm
nothing that will
not.
give you tolerance for other cultures than living in them.
Maybe. I mean, I've lived in quite a few different cultures, and
Yeah, but you're just a grumpy asshole. I mean, come on.
look, mate.
Fuck's sake.
Some of us see a half full glass. Some of us see half
empty. You didn't want to
empty.
argue with.
No,
Honestly, have you ever met anything you didn't want to argue with?
Holy shit! All I said was you were a nice guy and you saw the good in everybody. That's all I said.
But you were saying it in that sarcastic Scottish way.
No,
makes one think that you're not actually giving a compliment. You're actually saying, "Oh yeah, you're really nice," and then smacking you around the back of the fucking head.
I never said they were the worst Brit, mate. I just said somebody asked me why, what I thought of them, and I just told them what I thought because I've met a lot of Poles, to be fair. Right.
Next
anyway.
slide.
Next slide. So speaking about the economy, things have got to be up shit creek because the king is now going to food banks. He went to the food bank in Alloa. So he visited the food bank in Alloa. I mean, if the king's got to go to the food bank, what the hell?
It's the whole fact that the people in power don't find it utterly embarrassing that we even have food banks in the UK in 2025 because society is so fucked that people are in that situation because food is so expensive, energy is so expensive, wages are so rubbish. And the fact that they're celebrating this rich asshole promoting the fact that we have food banks. I'm sorry. How much? No. How much money do those parasites get off the?
But it's not even just that, right? It's the fact that you're right. If we've got food banks, charity should surely begin at home. Why are we still giving billions of pounds to Ukraine, to India, to China, to British overseas former territories? Why are we still giving them so much money?
I have a theory about that. Actually.
Go on. Tell me your theory.
I suspect that what the government talks about as foreign aid, is actually it's the money that they use to make trouble in all of these countries and to have their influence. And it's a good way to get spooks into a particular country because they can go in there and under the auspices of some charity in Pakistan helping people grow rice or whatever the hell it is. And also our establishment is still butthurt about the fact that we don't have an empire anymore. And they'd really like to have an empire. So we're just going to pretend we've got an empire. And I agree with you. I mean, the whole thing, the fact, if we've got pensioners, we've got veterans on the streets, we've got people living in temporary accommodation, we've got pensioners that can't heat themselves, we've got roads full of potholes, infrastructure falling to pieces. We shouldn't be sending any money to anybody else. I mean, we're practically a third world country.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't. I mean, India's got its own space program. Put a fucking lander on the moon.
Exactly.
We've not done that.
No, and it's like if you look at what China's done to, and I know you're not the biggest China fan, but let's just compare China and India in terms of where their economic development has gone. And China appears to be trying to lift people out of poverty. Maybe not everybody, but you can't deny that there are a lot more middle-class people now in China than there used to be.
Yeah, of course there are. Yeah.
Whereas with India, that doesn't seem to happen. And I think part of the problem is that, and we need to be a bit careful about how we say this because I don't get into any trouble, but India's got this caste system.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Where and the UK's got upper, middle, and lower.
So does China to a degree.
Yeah, but the thing is that India's caste system is like nothing else I've ever seen.
It's set in stone, mate. It's set in freaking stone.
And it's just like, and I think that's part. So all of the money that India's generating goes into this upper class, and you still have people that are untouchable and have to go into sewers and stuff.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be getting involved in that. It's like you're not going to change a system like that with a few £100 million worth of supposed, I don't know, guilt money or whatever the hell it is.
I don't know why we're giving India money. I really don't.
I don't know why we're giving anybody money.
Well, yeah, I know, but India and China, I mean, are we still paying for the opium wars and all that? Are we still paying for that? Well, why are we giving China money? Apart from buying everything that we actually buy from China.
This is why I think there's a spook connection to it. This is why I think that money is actually being used to subvert the countries where it's being used in, or it's being used to project power effectively. So it's soft power. That's what they even admit to it. It's British soft power.
Yeah.
And the whole shit show just needs to be completely dismantled, and we need to start again.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's like well, apparently the giving up the Chagos Islands is on hold. You know, the Diego Garcia and all that kind of carry on.
I don't even understand that.
Well, it's on hold because they're going to wait until Donald gets into position, because he might want to put the kibosh on it, because it's incredibly strategic. It's an incredibly strategic place for America, right? So
the whole. This is why I don't understand, because it's Diego Garcia. I mean, they call it the Chagos Islands.
Yeah, I know.
All the Chagos Islanders are in London trying to get their bloody island back.
But there weren't any Chagos Islanders, that's the thing.
The whole point, they were all shipped off to Mauritius.
No, but there weren't any.
Well, there were a few.
When the Chagos Islands
completely unpopulated.
It wasn't far off
it. There were Chagos Islanders.
It wasn't far off it, right?
But there were enough that it matters.
And the Chagos,
there were people displaced, and it was all bloody unfair.
The Chagos Islanders that live there right now do not want Britain to give it back.
Before the bloody airbase was put there.
Oh, nonsense. They really don't. Have a dig into it. Have a look into the Chagos Islands. It's not as straightforward as you think.
The point is that David Lammy is an idiot.
Yes, they are. But we shouldn't even, I mean, America will be fucking fuming. Especially, the military will be fuming, because they need that. They need that place. It's it's another, airstrip in the middle of nowhere that is
we
vital
use it as well.
Yeah, we do.
There's all sorts of rabbit holes around Diego Garcia.
I've been to just south of that. Right? South of that is an island called Gan, which is even further into the further south in the Indian Ocean, and it's got nothing on it apart from an airstrip. I've been there.
I've been to Mauritius, so it's much more fun.
We landed there on the way to Hong Kong to refuel. But yeah, it's just in the middle of absolutely nowhere. All they have is an airstrip.
It's essentially an immobile aircraft carrier.
Yeah, basically that's that.
And
yeah.
I mean, that just from a strategic perspective, if we're just ignoring all of the protest by Chagos Islanders and all that kind of stuff, just purely from a strategic perspective, it's a really stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it is. Especially if, like America does, it has pretensions of protecting Taiwan from China. Because there's nothing close to Taiwan. Yeah, I know.
Good luck with that. Didn't I read a story the other day that the Chinese Navy now has more ships than the American Navy?
Yes, you did. But I mean, that you've got to temper these things, because you've bought stuff from China. Sometimes it's just shit. Now, is there a chance that maybe some of their military tech isn't quite as good as they make it out to be? Possibly, right? I mean, it's like, you remember when America shat their pants when Russia come out with the MiG-25, fastest fighter going and all that. And America shat their pants and went and built the F-15 Strike Eagle. And then they got their hands on an F-15 Foxbat and frickin' nearly laughed themselves to death because it was so bad. Now, I don't think Russia's in the same boat now, but China might be in the position of where Russia kind of was at that point.
The thing is that the Chinese, I mean, the quality of the stuff, I agree with you. And one only has to spend a bit of money on Temu to realize how crap Chinese stuff can be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you look at some of the high-speed rail and the bridges and the big stuff that they're building, seems to be of better quality than it used to be. Now, maybe the bridge will last 10 years and fall to pieces. Who knows? But at the same time, there's nothing to motivate people like the thought of attack by a superpower.
DW's got an MG car. So what's your view, DW? Is it well built, or is it middle of the road, or is it crap? Just let us know. Just let us know. Because it'd be quite interesting. Right.
So, next slide.
Next slide is Liz. Here's Liz in DC.
I have to say that she's. I didn't think she was a particularly good prime minister, but I think all politicians are idiots. But she's carving her. She's doing her own thing, and people are criticizing her, and she's like, "Look, screw you! look at the economic numbers. I totally didn't crash the economy."
She didn't. She didn't.
And actually, when you look at some of her ideas, although they were laughed off, but she had potentially, it was going to have a better impact than what's happened since.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was a proper Tory budget.
And she does, for all of her faults, she does strike me as someone who actually gives a shit about the country.
I'm quite surprised with Liz Truss, because I have come to like her since, I thought she was...
might be a little bit strong. I've come to tolerate her.
Yeah, okay, but I've listened to her.
When it comes to politicians, it's about the same thing.
I've listened to her on a couple of podcasts. Well, she's not a politician anymore, so that maybe helps. But I've listened to her on a couple of podcasts and things, and she's not daft. She isn't daft, and she's quite articulate. And I think she did she did do a good interview, Fluffy, recently. And I think she was hard done to. And I'll say it again. I am convinced that Rishi Sunak stabbed her in the back by having a word with his chums in the city to manipulate the monetary market to make it look as if... I think
it's the other way around.
I think it was
the other way around. Because
they manipulated it to get Sunak in, but whatever way they did it...
And he knew he had to do what he was told.
Yeah, whatever way they did it.
Which is why he wanted to get out. Once it got to a point where the Prime Minister was going to have to do all sorts of authoritarian shit to make himself really unpopular.
Yeah.
That was why Sunak called the election when he did. And that was why Keir Starmer was parachuted into a safe seat a few years ago. And then they had the whole coup against Jeremy Corbyn, who was arguably more, agree with him or not, he was arguably more Labour than fucking Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer's not Labour at all. He's a fucking communist.
Not at all.
He really is.
And yeah, so we've ended up with what we've ended up with. Mm-hmm. But just seeing people lose their shit about that picture with Liz Truss wearing a MAGA hat, I love that.
Oh, I love it.
I'm not and never have been and never will be the biggest fan of Donald Trump, but I do like how crazy those red hats make some people. It's almost and the thing is that it's all the right kind of people. It's all the people that I feel like should be aggravated. Mm-hmm. Don't even get me started on it. Right. Saying something that'll get me into trouble.
So speaking of Donald, hold on, that shouldn't be right. So speaking of Donald, it's his honour to announce John Voight, very old, Mel Gibson, pretty old, and Sylvester Stallone, pretty damn old, to be special ambassadors to a great but very troubled place, Hollywood, California. They will serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which has lost much business over the last 4 years to foreign countries, back. Bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Okay. These three very talented people will be my eyes and ears, and I will get done what they suggest. It will again be like the United States of America itself, the golden age of Hollywood.
John
Big
Voight's a
words.
creepy weirdo. I just want to say that. It's just I sort of get that out there that I don't really like John Voight.
Yeah, big.
Mel Gibson,
big
I have a lot of time for.
Yeah, I do quite like Mel Gibson. I think he's
Sliced
verging on the
Stallone
part. Although
is-
Mel Gibson is verging on the part of becoming the character that he played in Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just like Mel. Anyone who is prepared to go up against an edifice like Hollywood and stand his ground and actually not let them completely destroy him simply because of who he is, despite them trying very hard to destroy him and smear him and everything else. And he's still ticking over and he's still got a voice. So, yeah, I've got a lot of time for him. But I just don't see how they're going to beat Donald Trump's. I mean, apart from the fact that a large chunk of Hollywood just burned down.
Well, no, Hollywood didn't. The Hollywood Hills were fine. That was all fake.
Yeah, but there's loads of actors and shit that live there, so they're going to be.
Yeah, they'll not move.
I guess that. Well, no, then they'll be desperate for parts too because they need to rebuild their houses.
Yeah, well, do they need to start making more movies?
The problem with Trump is, especially with his social media posts, is that half the time you don't know whether he's just trolling or not, because. I mean, what the fuck are these three going to do in Hollywood? Honestly, it's just, the whole place is a nest of some of the most vile creatures that walk around on the planet, and we think that these three are somehow going to make a difference. I
don't think they will. I think this is just bluster and all talk. I mean, you think about it. Trump did this the first time round as well, and really nothing really came of it. You know, I'll drain the swamp. Well, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily said that this time around. And also,
no, because he knows he can't.
This time
That's
around,
the problem.
he's also I don't know. I'm absolutely fascinated to see what direction America is going to take with his presidency. I don't want to try and make predictions. And I don't necessarily think it's right to compare it to his first term in office because America's in a very different place and he's in a very different place. And I'm not sure that he's necessarily wrapped his head around how much less power America has today than it did
big money
when he was president.
He's going to go to war with Iran.
That would be the stupidest thing he could possibly do because, I mean, then the economy is done.
Well,
because the Iranians have already said that
always good for an American economy.
If you want to keep the price of oil low and you want to keep Americans economically happy, war with Iran is just stupid.
America's a net exporter of oil. It doesn't matter.
No, but America's still subject to the global price of oil, which would definitely be impacted. I mean, to say that America could
if Iran's on BRICS,
and there'd be no economic consequences is just idiotic.
But if Iran's on BRICS, then they don't have any impact on the global price of oil.
But Iran has also just signed a big agreement with, actually it happened today, that President Pezeshkian from Iran is in Moscow signing a massive partnership agreement with Russia that covers all sorts of things, defense, trade, the whole shebang. And so anyone attacking Iran from today essentially has the Russians to worry about as well, because it's not necessarily a mutual defense pact. But it's a similar sort of agreement to the one that the Russian side with China, which is much more open-ended than saying we will do X, Y, and Z. It's more saying we'll help each other, and if that's military help, fine. If it's economic help, whatever, we're going to work together.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Be interesting.
It's fascinating. I mean, we live in. We're not even through January yet.
I know. He's not even in power yet. So what do you make of this guy? Veteran Merseyside Police Inspector Ross Meredith, who called it Just Stop Oil an evil cult, was subjected to accelerated disciplinary procedure, found guilty of gross misconduct and dismissed from the force with immediate effect. That means he'll lose his pension. That's harsh.
That is, especially because Just Stop Oil are an evil cult, and actually should make him police commissioner or put him in charge of the fucking police.
It's pretty bad, isn't it?
That's diabolical. I actually saw that earlier. I'm disgusted. Literally, I just think I mean, you're ruining someone's life, killing their pension, and that's to defend people who will stop ambulances in the street and deface priceless works of art and pour tomato soup on the Magna Carta, and are stupid enough to superglue their faces to roads. I mean, and this guy now doesn't have a pension and his whole family is impacted by it. It's fucking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. That should never have been allowed to happen. I'm hoping he's appealing it. Now, this is a good one.
I hope so, and I hope he wins too.
Yeah. Here we go. Passenger clings to German high-speed train and survives. Right. So there's more to this story than meets the eye. So passenger is unticketed on German high-speed train. Right. Hungarian. Right. It stops at a station. He jumps out onto the platform for a smoke, and then train starts to leave. So the doors were shut. The train was starting to leave. So he jumps between the carriages and clings onto the connectors. Right. While the train then accelerates up to 175 miles an hour. Well, this guy's doing his Tom Cruise in between the carriages. So 30 miles later, the police, who had been alerted, managed to get the train stopped at a train station. There was a cop on the train, and he jumps off the train as this guy comes out on the train, completely unharmed. He was then done for benefit fraud. You can't make this up. You can't make that up, can you?
The world in 2025. That kind of sums everything up.
Yeah.
That one story, literally, just it's a microcosm for everything that is fucked. This is literally how fucking crazy the world is right now.
That was sent to me courtesy of our friend of the channel, Stop Common Pass, David Nolan. Thanks very much, David, for that. It was a joy. I mean, I initially looked at it and I thought, okay, where is he clinging to? And then once you read the story, it just gets better and better.
At least he didn't go up. I mean, it sounds like he at least had half a brain because he didn't try and climb on the top of it.
Oh, thank God, because these things are electric, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, the power. Most European trains have the power. The power lines are up top.
Right. So here we go. LA Files. Look at this state of Newscombe. Right, so these memes have been popping up. He looks like a Batman villain, doesn't he?
He really does. I mean,
he reminds me of American Psycho.
He's just it's mind-boggling just how awful they are. I mean, some of these, particularly the New York and the governors in New York and California, like
Kathy Hochul.
I mean, he's like American Starmer, or Starmer is American Newsom. I mean,
I really thought he would run against Donald, and I thought he would have had a chance, but it was too late because by the time Biden crapped out, if they'd run anyone other than Kamala, apparently they'd have lost all their funds. So anyway,
but I think that was done deliberately.
Yeah. So this guy Avery Warwick says he interviewed a Los Angeles firefighter with 20 plus years of service. The truths he found are harrowing. Gavin Newsom ordered the removal of Elon Musk from the command post and ordered the Californian firefighters to return all donated Starlinks. The firefighters ran out of water. Apparently, when they went to the hydrants, there was no water there. A lot of the hydrants in the Palisades were, one, too infrequent, and secondly, of insufficient size to deliver the amount of water that the fire engines would require. And the fire chief was on saying, I don't know how the water gets to these things. I just know that when we go to a fire hydrant, we expect water to be there. But, I mean, you've been in this country and you've seen the fire service constantly going around checking fire hydrants. Do they not do that in America? Because they do it here.
They did. But the other thing is that just before the fire, the budget of the Los Angeles fire department was cut massively in the last budgetary year, and the mayor, who was in Ghana at the time, was wanting to cut it even more.
Yeah,
but they had money to paint the fire hydrants rainbow colours. And
the Palisades Reservoir was emptied for repair, apparently.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that reservoir's had any water in it since about 2009 or something.
Really? Bloody hell.
Yeah. No, it's a long time. I might have that date wrong, the exact year wrong, but it was more than just like 6 months or something. It was a long time.
Ray said he's not seen the fire crews do that since the 80s. No, I've seen the firemen, I've seen them within the last, I remember them coming round when I stayed in a house, and they used to check the fire hydrants all the time. Yeah. And that wasn't that long ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
But if fire crews in the UK went to a fire and there was no water in the hydrants, that would have been all over the news. We probably all know about it.
Yeah. But they still go around and check them all. They clean them out and make sure they work, you know? Right. So here you go. I mean, you've heard all this stuff from Elon Musk and Donald, and the Congress staff want a 32-hour work week. So they want a 4-day week.
Yeah, I think I saw Elon Musk retweet this, and I might be wrong, but I think he used one of those head exploding emojis.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, could you shoot yourself in the foot any harder?
Well, it's also how much. I mean, I think part of the problem that the UK and the US both suffer from is vast numbers of useless bureaucrats who do nothing except create problems in the system and slow things down, and they have their own little fiefdoms.
Yep.
And you see it here in the NHS and in the civil service and in local councils, and they just create this cushy little like fiefdom for themselves where they've got a nice public pension, and they want to do as little work as possible, and they all work from home. It's like Musk was tweeting a week ago or so about how something like 75% of federal office workers all work from home. Yeah, I mean, working from home in principle is not a bad thing if you're actually doing some bloody work.
Yeah. Well, see, there are two ways of looking at working from home, and if you have people with a work ethic, right, working from home actually as an employer, you probably find you get better and more work from them because they always go further when people have got a work ethic. They always go further to justify the fact that they're working from home. So,
or they're just enjoying themselves and they just get lost in what they're doing.
And then you get the other people who, it depends on your management as well, because you get managers who like to manage by walking around rather than managing by output. Now, if you have a task for your people to get done, if they do it in 3 hours and take the rest of the day off, what should that matter to you, right? If you're managing by outputs, right, and you have certain outputs that people need to get done, if they do it in 3 days, that's fine. Why would you pay them any less? Because they've done what you've asked them to do. And what do you want them to do? Sit for 2 days waiting on the next batch coming in? Doing nothing? Just be in the office and sit there? And that's management by walking around, and that that just leads to people goofing off. You're better just letting them get the work done, pay them what they're due, and crack on. But then you'll get the people who will always take advantage, and those are the ones that you can't afford to let work from home because they don't.
And they're
do the
also
work.
the ones that, and they're also the ones that would torpedo really good ideas like yours.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're the ones that actually stand in the way of change because it involves them actually having to fucking do something.
Exactly. Right, next slide. They're always making these studies with things that seem patently obvious to people. So, study says men with Scouse and Yorkshire accents are seen as more likely to commit crime. So, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, but what I object. Okay, but if you changed the headline in that story to say men with Yiddish and Pakistani accents seem more likely to commit crimes, study shows.
Yeah.
The whole freaking country would be in.
That's true. You're right, mate.
It would all just explode.
Yeah, you're right.
So what's the difference between... Because it's also a sweeping generalisation.
Oh, of course it is.
I mean, I know plenty of nice Scousers. And I'm 1/4 Yorkshireman, so...
You're beginning to sound like an American now.
That's because I went to an international school and I'm a little bit drunk and I just revert to type.
Right.
I
Anyway,
have one of those douchebag international kid accents when I turned up here.
Let's go back to the next one. Right. So the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is under investigation.
Must we? Did you have to include a picture of him?
Well, but he's under investigation over free Taylor Swift tickets. One, why is this creepy little dwarf, ignorant, horrible person going to watch Taylor Swift?
Well, they all did.
Why?
When she came to the UK, didn't you notice that when she was doing her concerts? They were all getting free tickets. Starmer was there. I think Starmer went like twice or something.
And Taylor Swift's like, do you remember that awkward girl at school? You know, the one who was unnaturally tall and couldn't walk? You know, she was more like Bambi. That's what Taylor Swift reminds me of. Some awkward geek. She just, there's nothing attractive about her. I don't find her attractive at all.
She's a classic, one of those classic media people that gets massively hyped and makes loads of money and gets massively promoted because she's completely vacuous.
Yeah.
There's no substance to any of the stuff she sings about. And she's just preening. I mean,
that's when she tries to dance.
I
mean, women are meant to have a bit of rhythm, but she's just like all knees and elbows.
I mean, I've never found her attractive to start with, but also I don't like the music, which in her case, being a singer is probably more important. And I don't think she's a good role model for kids.
No, she's always talking about.
She's also one of those hypocrites that will bleat on about environmental things and then
use a private. Did you see some of her private jet flights? 12 miles.
Yeah,
4 miles. Just to avoid a traffic jam in LA. She literally flew her private jet 4 miles. That's just incredible. I mean, how can she even hold her head up in the ecological states when she's using a private jet to travel 4 miles? That's just crazy.
Oh, yeah. One rules for thee, but not me.
Yeah.
And if she's like Bill Gates, she would say that she does more to help the environment than anybody else.
Yeah,
so
sure
she's allowed.
Does. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Please.
Check this dude out. What the fuck is this? This is a police officer.
Well, that's what you get with DEI. They probably had to...
Look at the freaking height of it.
Well... Yeah, and this is there is a reason why a certain segment of the population feels free to go into supermarkets and clean out shelves and go into Costa and steal all the sandwiches without any repercussions whatsoever.
He's one of the cops off the All In video at the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's British policing right there, frankly.
Freaking nuts. It is freaking nuts. In Canada, unknown activists have been adding drawings of penises to symbols of solidarity with Palestine. This has sparked a wave of outrage in the Arab segment of X. It's quite funny. It is quite funny. He's not a kid doing work experience. Did you see his beard, Espresso? He's a real cop.
I think to say it's unknown activists is a bit disingenuous to start with.
Far right.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
I think that given what's going on there, I'm not comfortable making light of it in that way, frankly. There's babies dying. There's people being burned to life in tents by bombs.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So
don't believe too much of what you read, though.
Bastard,
but don't believe too much of what you read as well. But anyway, we shall move on.
Videos of it.
We shall move on. Detroit TV anchor resigns after telling colleagues she's tired of covering people killing each other, a certain group of people. Yeah, I can understand that, because the stats do tell us that's what happens.
Yeah, but how much of a racist do you actually have to be to blurt something like that out in an environment in 2025?
You don't need to be a racist. You don't need to be a racist to blot that out, because the problem that I have is the people that are doing this, i.e. killing themselves, use that word all the freaking time. They casually use it all the time. And if someone that has a light skin uses it, they are automatically a racist, right? And, you can't have a multicultural society where one group can say one thing and another group can't.
Well, linguistically speaking, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there are differences. There's a word starting with K that I'm going to repeat that is the South African equivalent.
Yes, I know that word.
And that's actually
is it not a drink? It's nearly a drink.
No, that's K-E, not K-A.
I know. Oh, for fuck's sake.
But yeah,
as he gets drunker, people, he loses his sense of humor.
Shut up. I need a fucking drink after that.
Right, carry on. So, linguistically, you agree with me? Yeah.
And I'm personally, I don't think language should be censored.
No, it shouldn't.
I mean, it's a sort of free speech absolutism thing, and if you don't believe in freedom of speech for people you despise, then you don't believe in it at all.
Agreed.
And I think people should be free to say what they want without getting into trouble for it and having to quit your job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But at the same time, it does speak to the quality of TV anchors if they're that stupid.
Well, yeah.
Frankly.
I mean, let's be honest. They're not the best standard, generally.
And I mean, especially, it's one thing to blurt something like that out in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But this is 2025 with woke DEI nonsense crawling up everyone's bloody assholes.
It does appear that wokeness is starting to fall. It's starting to migrate.
It does seem a little bit that way. I mean, that's one of the nice things about the Donald coming in is that
one can hope it continues.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to, certainly in other parts of the world, that seems to be happening with the old weather narrative.
Yeah.
So I agree with you that the sooner all of that nonsense comes crashing down and all of the idiots that are like parroting it, like Dale Vince and all these other people, the sooner they have no more power, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Right. Now, this one may upset you, right? but I couldn't stop freaking laughing when I read this yesterday. I just couldn't stop laughing. I know it's not funny, but for some reason I found it funny. It's shocking.
Well, there's probably catharsis there, and sometimes actually, just as a little tangent, if you look at humor is really interesting because laughing is like crying; it's a release valve.
Okay.
And but the thing is that it's a different, it's a different sort of release valve, and on some levels, it's really it's because the horror of it. I mean, the whole idea of being eaten by a shark is possibly one of the most unpleasant ways to die. And whilst I don't think migrants should be crossing the Mediterranean in dinghies, possibly a few more sharks in the Mediterranean might sort out some problems in Europe. I don't know. Maybe we should need to put a few sharks in the North Sea as well.
We have sharks on the channel because
but they're all tiny little bastards.
No, they're not. They're not. Some of them are man-eaters. Because
but given how busy it is, they probably stay the fuck away.
You don't have enough of them. That's the problem. But my cousin. Hold on, my cousin, who's a Navy diver, was chased by a mako shark off the coast of Portsmouth.
Bloody hell.
And he shot himself. He said it was one of the most terrifying experiences he's ever had in his life.
Yeah, I can imagine. This is why I like diving in the Red Sea, because there isn't, particularly the Gulf of Aqaba, up where Dahab is. Well, no, you get sharks down Sharm el Sheikh, but my favourite dive spot in the Red Sea is Dahab, which is it's about an hour north of Sharm.
I remember.
But it's further up into the Gulf of Aqaba, and there isn't the same kind of large food for the large critters. So you get whale sharks and things like that.
Yeah, but
but it's all little fish. It's like swimming around at the dolphin bowl. The whole idea of being chased by a mako shark. I mean, shit. I saw Jaws. There's no thanks. So, I like scuba diving, but I like small fish. Thank you very much.
Apparently, there's a breeding group of white sharks in the Med.
Okay.
I didn't know that the last time I dived in Malta.
Well, no, me neither. But then Malta, I mean, particularly because I've dived in Gozo, and that's the diving that we were doing. It was all very close to shore, and in caves and stuff. There's no way that you get big sharks, and that's more jellyfish than anything else.
Malta was I really enjoyed diving in Malta. It was
I love Malta. No, I mean Gozo is fantastic.
Gozo as a place to visit.
The water are a bit hairy sometimes.
Yeah, but even as a place to visit without diving, Gozo is incredible because of all the megalithic stuff and the temples and the underground stuff. It's
Malta's an absolutely fascinating place.
Intriguing.
It's one of those places that's got something for everybody, because if you're a film buff, you can go off and see all of the places where they've recorded countless different movies and Game of Thrones and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if you're into water sports, there's plenty of that. If it's not that kind of water sports, if you're into diving, there's loads of that. It's just it's culturally fascinating as well. It's a very odd place. I mean, it's massively ancient, and the language is really weird. I mean, not in a bad way. I'm someone that I love different languages and how they sound and how different they are.
It's also
and Maltese is odd.
The people are really British.
Yeah, well, they drive on the same side of the road as us. It's fucking excellent if you want to rent a car.
Yeah, but they're very Britishy, even though they're Maltesers. They are very Britishy. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, no, and there's all sorts of it's like it's a bit like Antarctica. The whole place is a big rabbit hole.
Yeah,
because it's like you said, there's megalithic stuff, there's ancient stuff that archaeologists can't explain.
Tunnels.
Yeah, absolutely, and all sorts of sun pointing temples and fascinating.
Yeah.
Right. Next slide.
Last slide.
I've got. We've still got some time, so
cool.
Yeah, I've got a few things we didn't cover.
Okay, that's his how to take revenge. Teenager slept with his bully's sister, girlfriend, and mother after being called a virgin by the bully 3 months ago. And the punchline down there is, he is a man of focus, commitment, and sheer fucking will. That is
That is impressive. That if you're going, I mean, if you are going to do a bully,
yeah,
yeah, that's the apex. That is the John Wick of anti-bullying.
That guy is the fucking master of retribution.
Yeah, and to pull the sister, the girlfriend, and the mum.
Yeah,
that's skill.
I'd take my hat off to him if I was wearing one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
He did the bully dirty indeed, and then some.
But it also just shows you what a fucking crazy place this world is.
Yeah. So what have you got for us? What have you got for us, Ed?
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able
to. Does that share screening work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Screen sharing, rather.
I'll just need to bring it in.
There we go.
Once, right, hold on, give me a second. I shall, if I can bring...
Are we there?
Just a minute. Hold on, I just need to drop in the...
Still don't have a producer.
Yeah, well, I wasn't prepared for this. If I'd known you were going to do this, I could have created...
Well, it doesn't have to be professional. Just share the freaking screen.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Just give me a fucking minute. Jesus Christ. You my wife now?
No.
Right.
The woman deserves a freaking medal.
Okay, right. There's your screen is being shared.
Okay, so the first one we've got is Lord Talbot is a bit of a spot the lesbian, which I thought was particularly fun because I just don't like this creepy weirdo.
No,
I mean it's like
something wrong with him. This
is the exact example of it's like a walking, talking midlife crisis. Yeah, honestly, with the ripped jeans and gives loads of money to people like Extinction Rebellion and stuff like that. The next one is this is Barack Obama's happy birthday to his wife, and I noticed two things. Number one, the copious lack of food on the plates. Number two, the copious amount of wine that they've got in rather nice looking
wine coolers.
Yeah, there's just something so contrived about that.
And the very red tablecloth.
Yeah, and we got a snap because we both picked that one.
Okay, yep, we did.
Oh, this one, we decided whether we were going to have a quick chat about the two slut buckets.
Right, okay.
Honestly, well, the main thing I wanted to say about this one is less about what these two particular women are doing and more a point that a few people, if we go into the comments...
just talk about them. You don't need to show them. It's fine.
Well, yeah, no, but one of the comments that people have been making about that particular story is that it's very, it's suspicious in terms of the timing because of the whole other thing that's been doing the news about the gangs of men doing vile things to that, and the fact that you've now got two British women, effectively, that are trying to outslut each other. And we had one that was slept with 100 guys in however long. And now this other one, the next one's done just over 1,000, which just why? And now that the one that did the 100 is now trying to outdo the one that did 1,000 by by saying that she's going to take as many up the batty as she can. I mean, just but the point is that at the same time, we've got these very publicized slut buckets that are essentially just prostitutes. I mean, they call them OnlyFans models, but that's just a modern way of describing a prostitute.
Yeah.
Prostitute, yeah. But it's being massively pushed, and they're getting, I mean, that the one that did the 1,000, whose name I'm not going to mention, has been on daytime TV and stuff.
Really?
And so it's like they're trying to. There's something very creepy about that happening at the same time that we've got this massive scandal about grooming gangs.
So I hear there are some people who are claiming it's a psyop and that they're being managed and whatever, but are they, or are they just? I mean, these two have a history of trying to outdo each other. Right?
I don't think those two are being. I don't think that they are doing anything other. They're both.
They're known for their extreme
seekers.
Challenges on
sure,
OnlyFans.
But it's being promoted. It's not the fact that they're doing it, because there's hundreds of OnlyFans, thousands of OnlyFans models doing whatever they want to do, and loads of people paying for it, and they can do whatever they want to do. It's a free world.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. But it's the fact that these two are being promoted everywhere in the media, as much as they are, and online. That's the part that I find suspicious, because
so who would be doing
just
that?
I don't know.
So would this be like government spin doctors dropping the word to the media that maybe you want to concentrate on putting this out?
Well, this
try and distract a little. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I struggle with this idea that there is one group controlling everything. I just don't. The world is too big and chaotic for one group of people to control everything. But at the same time, there are interest groups, and there are people that want to promote particular narratives. And the whole grooming, if you look at how effectively this particular scandal has been suppressed by the British establishment going over 40 years, probably, and how deep and nasty certain aspects of that rabbit hole are, they're the same people that control the media. And so when these two women of loose morals, as my grandmother would have said, are doing what they're doing, and you amplify that, they don't have to create these women, they don't have to control them, they just have to amplify the stupid shit that they're doing, and make that as loud as the other stuff. And it just creates this impression that it's like a lot of the victims of these gangs have basically said that in some cases the police will just accuse them of being sluts and prostitutes and whores and all this kind of thing. And then you have these two women doing this thing that's essentially saying we are prostitutes, and we're happy with being prostitutes, and we're proud of it, and we're going to try and shag as many men as we can.
Yeah, but these are adults. And the people that we're talking about in the other situation aren't.
No, that's true. But it's interesting how linguistically, a lot of the time when the media referred to these young women, not the two that we're talking about, but the actual victims, they're always described, instead of being called children, because it's a 12-year-old girl that's been raped. Exactly, but they get described as young women, for example.
Yeah.
And it's just, and also the two that we're talking about, also actually, particularly one of them, definitely look younger than their actual years.
Yeah, they're 25 and 23.
Mm-hmm.
So they are adults, no doubt about it, and they can do what they like. And I think a lot of it maybe is they're just taking advantage of the situation because of what's been brought up, and they're just trying to leverage it to their own ends. There might be that.
I'm sure the two women are leveraging it to their own ends.
I think anyone that's sensible like you and I, right, we're seeing past this straight away, because this has no connection to what's going on in the grooming circles or whatever. And I wouldn't give this a second thought. And that's just me, right?
Well,
and
no,
I'm
it's
pretty
not
sure there are
necessarily that
lots
I
of
am.
people.
I'm kind of feeding back stuff that I've been
No,
seeing
I'm
quite a
not.
lot of people saying.
I'm not accusing you, but
Mhm.
the problem is you get. I mean, the majority of people are stupid, and men, particularly more so than women, when it comes to sex. Well, yeah. I mean, but even. And I
But
mean,
what I
right. Put it this way. I mean, you know that men are stupid because you wouldn't get a woman, right? You wouldn't get 1,000 women to sleep with one guy
no.
in 24 hours.
Well,
No, even if I know the guy couldn't do it, but you wouldn't get 1,000 women to do that, to even line up for it, right?
no.
But
And
you've
I
got
mean,
1,000 men, and the thing is, it's almost like they're trolling us, these women, or maybe even someone who's managing them, because the picture that was released, these guys all had a tan. Can I put it like that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Moving on. The next bit of stupidity is this one with the dear leader saying that he's. Oh, hang on. Where are we? There we go. This one.
Right.
The dear leader admits a willingness to deploy UK troops to Ukraine.
Get out of... I missed this completely. When did he say this?
This is a fairly recent one. It's only 14 hours ago that this tweet came out.
What the freak? And did he really say that?
Well, I can't play the video, but it's on.
Why not?
It's on TikTok. Well,
try it.
Can people hear it?
Yeah. Oh no, they can't. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Right. Hold on. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
While he's doing that, one thing that I noticed about Starmer, I'm not sure if anyone picked up on it, but when he was talking to Zelensky in Kiev, he took his glasses off. Those glasses really creeped me out because he didn't wear them right the way through the whole campaign.
Right.
And then he suddenly, as soon as he got elected, he's wearing these creepy, weirdo black glasses.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder if they're not some sort of high-tech glasses that have got little cameras in them and little
Ray-Bans.
like bone conductive microphones,
like Ray-Bans,
speakers and stuff, so that he basically someone, I don't know, maybe Klaus Schwab's got him on remote control or something.
Right.
But he's so robotic. Literally, it's just like he's being controlled by a really bad AI or something. Right. Do we want to try that again?
Yeah. Take it back to the beginning.
Just in principle, would you agree to do that?
Well, I've been discussing this with a number of allies, including, of course, President Macron, including President Zelensky here today, and we will play our full part. We have always been one of the leading countries in relation to the defence of Ukraine, and so you can read into that that we will be playing our full part. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, because this has to be enduring, it has to be lasting, it needs to be sufficient to deter further aggression.
You're prepared to do that?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I do and have indicated that we will play our full part, because this isn't just about sovereignty in Ukraine, although of course it's about that. It's about what the impact is back in the United Kingdom.
I just can't even listen to him anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I hate him.
So
I hate his voice.
He pulled short of actually saying it. He just said he would play our full part.
Exactly. It's his mealy mouth nonsense, but we know how involved he is in that whole shit show. And it's just I also picked the Khan story, by the way. Here's another one. Right. Okay. Yep. No, I haven't.
He's on a roll, people. He's on a roll.
I've only got a couple.
Go on.
There you go.
Get out of here.
In what's that? I mean, this is also Wes Streeting that's
nonsense
tweeted this.
This is nonsense.
You can't. But the thing is that you and I know this is nonsense, But people like Wes Streeting, they're either completely disingenuous and they know it's nonsense, and they're trying to convince us that it's actually real.
Well, Britmate says, but the IMF have downgraded the UK. So how can we be, on one hand, promoted to be the fastest growing economy, yet the IMF are downgrading their credit rating? I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
Well,
unless the rest are even worse.
Well,
yeah,
there is that.
Let's face it, Germany.
The whole of Europe is in the toilet.
Yeah, Germany's fucking in the sewer already. I mean, Germany's done.
Also, when we're talking about the fastest amount of growth, we're probably only talking about 0.123%.
Yeah.
And Ed Miliband is doing his absolute best to try and make sure that number is brought down as quickly as possible, and then sent into negative numbers.
Did you see what they're talking about now? Putting an additional tax on gas boilers to make them more expensive because people, they're not dear enough. People are still buying them instead of heat pumps, so they're going to put another tax on them. And
I'm seeing stories from people who own heat pumps that they're actually way more expensive, and they don't heat the house. That in cold weather they get up to 15 to 17 degrees, and that's just not hot. It's not warm enough. It's not healthy.
No, not warm
enough. And there's also a massive electricity bill.
Yeah,
and we don't have the electrical capacity. They
are loud, they are loud, and they get louder as they age.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But the government is insane. Net zero is insane. The whole green thing is insane. We're not cleaning up the planet. We're just creating more mess, more pollution, because of having to create windmills. And I mean, instead of people just using cars that have already been built, we've all got to replace them with electric cars. So screw you if you're a little kid in the Congo. I mean, it's enough to make you want to smash your head repeatedly against the wall.
Yeah. With that.
Anyway, I've got one more.
One more. Bloody hell.
Yeah,
just one. On a roll. Oh, here we go. Right, what is it? You're going to have to read this one out. It's quite small.
So, Western media won't be telling you this.
Right, okay.
Over 63% of the tiny slice of Russian territory temporarily occupied by Ukrainian units in Kursk has now been retaken by Russian forces. Their foothold is shrinking day by day. In the east, Donbass, Russian forces continue to advance. Now, just to put this into perspective for people, the number of troops and the amount of equipment that Ukraine has lost in this little tiny slice of Kursk is more than what they used up in the whole of their so-called big offensive in 2023.
Yeah.
And all of them are elite units. And the Ukrainians have essentially, instead of sending all of their elite troops to reinforce their actual country, Donbass, where there's loads of Russians, they sent them into a completely useless part of Russia, because literally the only thing in that part of Kursk, in most of Kursk, I mean, it's all just forests and mountains and rivers and like Hobbit land. Yeah, it sounds very, what's it called? Oh, Christ.
Wild hunting?
Well, no, not wild hunting. No, it actually sounds like something out of Lord of the Bloody Rings.
Yeah, there is a nuclear power plant there, isn't there?
Well, yeah. And the only thing that they could have been aiming for was that. But when they failed to meet that objective, instead of doing the sensible thing and pulling out and not wasting any more troops, they've basically just pissed away an entire army, which they could have used to defend somewhere. I mean, the whole Ukrainian operation, in terms of military history, I swear to God, military historians are going to be writing books about this nonsense for at least 200 years.
If they're allowed to.
That's a good point. Anyway, that was the last thing that I found.
Well, thank you. No, that was good.
And I mean, it just, just between, even if you just look at the different stuff that we've covered in this show, it seems to get more crazy every time we do a show. Literally, every time we do an all-in, it's just more mental.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's just so much going on in the world right now, and we haven't even started. I mean, China and Taiwan haven't even started yet. Because I'm sure that will come to a head at some point in 2025. Have you got any predictions for 2025? I mean, I'll put myself out there. I'll say China and Taiwan will have some kind of altercation.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I think that the Chinese, the Chinese diplomatic service is superb. I mean, Wang Yi and the foreign minister, and China's philosophy in terms of how they deal with the rest of the world. They're business people. They want to.
Yes, but they will take advantage of a very weak opponent, and America's looking like a very weak opponent at the moment.
Yes, that's true. But at the same time, it's been more beneficial for them to continue the status quo, unless the thing that would send it over the edge is what the Taiwanese do.
Yeah.
If the Taiwanese start making all sorts of noises about wanting to be independent or just doing anything more concrete in that respect that riles up the mainland, then maybe there'd be. I mean, China's got the ability to do it if they want to. America doesn't really have the ability to stop them, short of nukes. And if they do that, then the world is basically toast anyway. And who cares who fucking has Taiwan? If we're going to have a third world war, I mean, it's not like it's going to matter very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the thing is that once the nukes start flying, then all sorts of nuclear protocols come into effect and all sorts of defense treaties. And it's once the first one flies, it's largely on autopilot from that point.
Yeah.
And that's that. And I can't imagine that anybody wants to see that. Trump doesn't want to blow the Trump doesn't want to go down in history as the American president who blew up the world.
And speaking of Trump, if you want to watch the inauguration, you can watch it live here on Sergeant Grumpy's channel with Ben at 4:00 on Monday afternoon, 4 p.m. Remember, like, share, and subscribe, and evangelize us to other people. And Ed, sorry for cutting you off there.
No,
I just thought I saw the segue and I had to go for it.
Segues are good, and make sure you guys tune in. I shall be at work, but I'll probably be watching. Personally, I'm interested to see whether he actually gets to that point, because they've already tried to knock him off twice.
Yeah, well,
I'm interested to see what kind of crazy bullshit the powers that be.
5,000 troops have been deployed?
5,000 troops have been deployed?
To Washington, D.C. For the inauguration. Be interesting to see how many people are there, because he kind of did a fast and loose the last time, because he made it look as if the place was mobbed. And yet when you actually saw the aerial pictures, there was a lot more there at Obama's inauguration than there ever was at Trump's.
Given the climate, given how many people voted for him, given how desperate America is for change, and I mean, the rest of the world is as well, I suspect that there's going to be a lot of people there. And I would, at least America's going to have a president that's in control of his faculties.
Yeah. And then there's the other thing that people have been banging on about, which was that Starmer hadn't been invited. British Prime Minister's never been at an inauguration. Never.
No, they have. Thatcher was at Reagan's inauguration.
No, she was not. You look it up, mate. There has never been a British Prime Minister at an American inauguration. Thatcher was not. She travelled to the US shortly after the inauguration.
What about
because
Churchill?
Grok is completely fucking wrong. Churchill was never there.
I'll blame Mick the Skins for that one then.
Yeah, no, that that's true. We had a whole. You need to go through that thread because
I can't be asked to do that.
I checked that in great detail, and there has never
I stand corrected.
There has never been a prime minister and an American inauguration.
Well, given that we're the former colonial power and they fought a war of independence against us, it would be a bit bloody stupid.
Yeah, the ambassador goes and represents us. That's what always happens. So,
well, I think I'm glad for the change. I think Biden has been easily one of the worst presidents in US history, if not the worst. It would be a struggle to actually go through the list of American presidents and find one that did more damage to the United States and the rest of the world than Biden.
Agreed.
I mean, he makes Nixon look like a bloody saint. Nixon looks like a better president compared to Biden.
Nixon wasn't a bad president, and the people that heard him on the radio interview, right, said that he slaughtered JFK, right? But the people that watched the TV interview at the same time, because it was broadcast on radio, which most people listened to, and it was also broadcast on TV, and the people that watched the TV side of things said JFK won it, right? The debate.
Yeah.
Because Nixon was not a pleasant guy to look at. That's the problem.
And he also hadn't embraced the whole TV phenomenon in the same way that Kennedy did.
Oh, Kennedy was
But
either
of them,
he was just full of spin.
Although once after the Bay of Pigs, he did become a more substantive president. I have a lot of respect
He
for
had a
JFK.
fucking shady background, though. Really shady background.
Yes, but who doesn't? Certainly not someone that gets into American politics.
Yeah. Well,
and Nixon didn't. Nixon had his own shady background. Yeah. But at the same time, when you compare either of them to Biden, they're literally practically.
Oh, they're saints.
Or something.
They are saints.
Yeah.
Right. We don't need to wrap this up, or I need to go to the toilet.
No, it's late.
One or the other. It's up to you.
No. Let's wrap it up. It's nearly 11 o'clock. We've been on for nearly 2 hours. So
thank you, everyone. I think we've had a much better all-in than we had. Well, all-in last week wasn't that bad. It started off
just a grumpy bastard.
Yeah. I think I've been mellower tonight. But remember, we've moved past the full moon, So maybe that has had an effect.
God, so Sergeant Grumpy gets more grumpy when there's a full moon.
Yeah,
I suppose we should think of it on the bright side. At least you don't grow fangs and start trying to rip people's throats out.
People are now going to be saying he's like a woman. Once a month he becomes a beast.
Oh dear, that'd be fine. It just because of it's all right, guys. Don't worry, John's on his period.
And with that, it's been great for you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous, can't wait to apply but we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling